The morning sun filtered through blinds of a modest apartment, casting a warm glow on the face of a man who was anything but ordinary. His name was Lucas Bennett, a man in his early 40s, with sharp features and a demeanor that exuded confidence. Lucas was the CEO of Bennett Enterprises, a multi-million-dollar company known for its innovative solutions and employee-centric policies. But today, Lucas wasn't in his corner office, surrounded by the hum of productivity. Today, he was someone else entirely. Lucas had always believed in leading by example. He had built his company from the ground up, starting with nothing but a dream and a relentless drive to succeed. But lately, something had been gnawing at him. Despite the success, the accolades, and the wealth, he felt disconnected. He had begun to wonder if the policies he had implemented were truly making a difference in the lives of his employees. Were they happy? Were they struggling? He needed to know the truth, not from reports or surveys, but from the ground level. And so, Lucas had made a decision. He would go undercover. He would step into the shoes of an ordinary employee and experience life as they did. It was a bold move, one that could backfire if he was discovered. But Lucas was determined. He had chosen one of the company's retail stores, a small but busy outlet in the heart of the city. He would work there for a week, observing, listening, and learning. The first day was a whirlwind. Lucas, now going by the name Luke, was introduced to the team as a new hire. He was assigned to work alongside a young cashier named Mia Thompson. Mia was in her mid-20s, with a warm smile and a quiet determination. She had been with the company for 2 years, and from the moment Lucas met her, he could sense a resilience in her that intrigued him. The store was bustling with activity, and Lucas quickly realized how demanding the job could be. Hours passed in the blur of scanning items, handling cash, and assisting customers. By the end of the day, his feet ached and his back was sore, but it wasn't the physical strain that stayed with him. It was the conversations he overheard, the snippets of life shared between employees during their breaks. On the second day, Lucas found himself working the evening shift with Mia. The store was quieter, and the pace had slowed. As they stood side by side at the checkout counters, Lucas decided to strike up a conversation. "So, Mia," he began, trying to sound casual, "how long have you been working here?" Mia glanced at him, her smile softening. "About 2 years now. It's not my dream job, but it pays the bills." Lucas nodded, his curiosity piqued. "What's your dream job?" Mia hesitated for a moment, as if weighing whether to share her thoughts. "I've always wanted to be a teacher," she said finally. "I love working with kids, helping them learn and grow. But life has a way of throwing curveballs, you know?" Lucas felt a pang of sympathy. "What kind of curveballs?" Mia sighed, her gaze drifting to the floor. "Well, for starters, I'm a single mom. My son, Noah, is 6 years old. He's my world. But raising him on my own hasn't been easy. Between rent, daycare, and all the other expenses, there's never enough money at the end of the month. I've been saving up to go back to school, but it's slow going." Lucas's heart sank. He had no idea that one of his employees was struggling so much. He wanted to say something, to offer words of comfort, but he knew he had to maintain his cover. Instead, he simply nodded, his mind racing with thoughts. As the days went by, Lucas learned more about Mia's life. She worked double shifts whenever she could, often sacrificing time with her son to make ends meet. She spoke of her dreams with a quiet determination, but there was an underlying sadness in her voice, a sense of resignation that broke Lucas's heart. One evening, as they were closing up the store, Mia shared something that would stay with Lucas forever. They were in the break room, sipping coffee and chatting about their day. The conversation turned to the challenges of balancing work and family. "Sometimes," Mia said, her voice trembling slightly, "I feel like I'm failing Noah. I want to give him the world, but I can barely keep up with the basics. There are days when I wonder if I'm doing enough, if I'm being the mom he deserves." Lucas felt a lump form in his throat. He had never heard such raw honesty, such vulnerability. He wanted to tell her that she was doing an incredible job, that her sacrifices were not in vain. But before he could respond, Mia continued. "You know what keeps me going?" she asked, her eyes glistening with tears. "It's the thought that one day things will get better. That one day I'll be able to give Noah the life he deserves. That's what keeps me pushing forward, even when it feels impossible. Lucas was speechless. He had always prided himself on being a compassionate leader, but hearing Mia's story made him realize how much more he could be doing. He thought about the policies he had implemented, the benefits he had introduced. Were they enough? Were they truly making a difference in the lives of his employees? The week came to an end, and Lucas returned to his role as CEO. But he was a changed man. He had seen firsthand the struggles his employees faced, and he was determined to do something about it. The following Monday, Lucas called a meeting with his senior leadership team. He shared his experience, his conversations with Mia, and the lessons he had learned. He spoke passionately about the need to do more, to go beyond the basics, and truly support their employees. "We have the power to make a difference," he said, his voice filled with conviction. "We have the resources, the influence, and the responsibility to ensure that no one in our company has to struggle the way Mia has. Let's not just be a successful company. Let's be a company that changes lives." The room was silent, the weight of his words sinking in. And then, one by one, the leaders began to nod, their expressions reflecting a shared determination. In the weeks that followed, Lucas implemented a series of new initiatives. He introduced flexible work schedules, expanded childcare benefits, and created a scholarship program for employees pursuing further education. He also made it a point to visit the stores regularly, not as a CEO, but as a friend, a listener, a supporter. Mia was one of the first to benefit from the new policies. With the help of the scholarship program, she was able to enroll in night classes to pursue her teaching degree. The flexible work schedule allowed her to spend more time with Noah, and the expanded childcare benefits eased the financial burden she had been carrying. One evening, as Lucas was leaving the office, he received a message from Mia. It was a simple note, but it meant the world to him. "Thank you," it read, "for seeing me, for hearing me, for giving me a chance to dream again. You've changed my life, and I'll never forget it." Lucas smiled, a sense of fulfillment washing over him. He had set out to understand the struggles of his employees, but in the process, he had rediscovered his own purpose. He had learned that true success wasn't measured by profits or accolades, but by the lives you touched, the dreams you helped realize, and the hope you inspired. And as he walked out into the night, the city lights twinkling like stars, Lucas knew that this was just the beginning. There was so much more to do, so many more lives to touch, and he was ready for the journey. Moral of the story: true leadership is not about power or prestige. It's about empathy, understanding, and the willingness to make a difference in the lives of others. Sometimes, the greatest lessons come from stepping into someone else's shoes and seeing the world through their eyes. When we listen, when we care, and when we act, we have the power to change lives, not just for others, but for ourselves as well.